What's going on, YouTube? Hard Media, T-Hard here, back with another tech review. What I'm reviewing right now is the Bose Soundsport Bluetooth versus the Samsung Buds Live. These are the new version, the Beam Bluetooths. Anyway, reason I'm making this comparison, I am a hardcore fan of these. And I had two sets, well, I have two sets, because that's how much I like them. And one of them messed up. I tried to fix it. The little power button here messed up. It still works, but this little rubber piece, let me show you the other one here. And I've had that one a little over a year. This little piece here, we can get that to zoom in. Yeah, this little piece here, what happened, I'm gonna blame myself. I cleaned it with some sanitizer, you know, this whole COVID scare, have you sanitizing everything, but I cleaned it with some sanitizer on a towel, and I think it started to degrade this rubber right here, and it made it just wear out and tear apart. Ignore the mess I made of it trying to just glue that on there. It was terrible. But I think I'm still going to try to fix it and continue using it until it dies all the way. But I'm probably going to buy another set because, like I say, I'm a hardcore fan. So anyway, get back to this review. These Samsung, these are the new ones. Now I intentionally left this case with all the fingerprints on it, because once you touch it, and I'm talking about the Samsung case, once you touch it, it's a fingerprint magnet. I mean, it's nice looking once you clean it. Let's give it a little wipe down here. And it's beautiful when it's clean, but as soon as you touch it, it's fingerprint heaven. So first, I'm going to start with my favorite Bluetooth. I'm going to start with this one. This Bose Bluetooth, to me, now let me give you a little history on me and Bluetooth. I've had so many. I had the first Bose Bluetooth, I think it was called a Series 1, Series 2, something like that. Had that one, that was my favorite. Then they quit making it for some reason. And from there, I was just stuck in limbo trying to find a good replacement. I had one, it was a Sennheiser or something or another, but I lost it, and it was pretty expensive, and I didn't want to buy another one, so I just bought some cheap ones, and ended up with, it was a Jabra Stealth. It was a little cheap Bluetooth, but it did what I wanted it to do, and I had that one for a very long time. I even have my wife stuck on it, which she still uses it to this day. Anyway, so let's start with the Bose. This Bose is going to be hard to beat. Only problem a lot of people say about it is the size of the actual Bluetooth. It's a pretty good size. Let me wipe off some of my ear gunk off of here. I don't want you to see that and be grossed out. But anywho, it's a good size. So you stick it in your ear. A lot of people say, oh, you know, this big piece hangs out too far. It's just not attractive. I'm not going for looks, I'm going for functionality. I'm going for performance. And in my opinion, this can't be beat thus far. It may be some new ones coming out that may be touching it, but so far, can't beat it. Now, it does have pros and cons. One con would be the size. I don't have an issue with the size, but someone may. I have a pretty big head and pretty big ears, so it fits me. It fits my head and face fine. Smaller eared people, smaller headed people, it may not fit you properly. It may stick out a good ways. The second con is the battery. The battery life, it says about 5 hours, which is probably approximate, but that's 5 hours of talk time. Now I have mine set to where it powers off in about 5 to 10 minutes if I'm not using it. The problem with that is when once it powers off and you take a call or you get a call, you don't get the advantages of having the caller ID coming through the Bluetooth. You have to turn it back on, and as soon as you turn it on, it's going to answer the call. But I have my watch for that purpose. If I don't want to pull my phone out, I can just see who it is on my watch here. And so that's one con, the battery. If you can set it to where it stays on, and I think it gives you about 8-9 hours standby time. But that was the reason why I bought two, because when I'm at work, I'm on the phone constantly. This one may run down, within 4 or 5 hours. I drop it in my charger, let it do its thing, pull out my other one, I got 5 more hours. By the time this one dies, this one's already ready to go. That's why I bought two. Not to mention that I'm crazy about them. So, the pros about them, they sound great. Well, one more con. A lot of dual Bluetooth like this now, you can put both in and have the call on both sides, on both earpieces. On these you can't. It's only on the right. So if you want a phone call in stereo, this Bose set is not for you because it does not do that. It does play audio in stereo, of course. Some people say they had video audio sync issues where they're watching videos and the audio is not syncing with the Bluetooth. I've never had that problem. I have a Galaxy Note 10 Plus. Never had that problem. Even with my last phone, the Note 8, didn't have that problem. So, and that's the Bose. Like I say, these are my current all-time faves. Another pro about these, the charging case, it'll probably charge them, and I mean from dead to full, it can probably charge them 3 to 4 times before this case is dead. And the pro to this case is it charges pretty quick. Hour and a half, it's full and ready to go. So absolutely love them. I don't have the issues that I have with them, they don't bother me. So those are my faves. Now, since the one that I messed up here, I couldn't get the power button working right, and I was just, okay, let me just try something different. Everybody's ranting and raving about different earpiece sets, and thus came these, the Samsung Buds Live. I'm a hardcore Samsung fan also, so I said, hey, why not? Let's give it a try. Samsung, sound by AKG. Now, I'm not going to go too hard on these, but I left these the way they are right now on purpose. I'm not sure if we can see this. Come on. So I've only wore the right one. I don't know if this is coming up good, but if you see, I know it's kind of gross, but that's my ear grease oil from my ear on there. And I'm going to get straight into that. I work outside. So the first con that I noticed with these, in the morning, when your ear is nice and dry and clean, they stay in no problem. But as the day goes on and your sweat pores open or your ear gets a little oily from whatever, they tend to slide up out of your ear. So if you ever saw how these go in your ear, when you sweat or the oils in your body start producing during the day or whatever reason, as you can see on this edge right here, maybe you can see it, maybe you can't, they start to slide out of your ear. Especially because I got a job where I move, I bend, I stoop, I stand. And so the more you start moving, the your ear gets, these start coming out of your ear. And eventually, they will just pop out. Now, the first time I had that happen was yesterday, which is probably a week of wearing them. It popped out. Never, ever, 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 ever have I had that problem with these. Not one time. And right there, I was pretty much done with these. But the pros to these is the battery lasts a very long time. And I mean straight talk, I got about a full 8 hours out of these. Keeping it in my ear, staying powered on, a good 8, maybe 9 hours. And I had it on normal mode on the app with the noise cancellation turned off. The sound quality on them, they're okay, in my opinion, nowhere close to the Bose. I mean, they sound good. I don't want to, just dog them. They sound pretty good. But compared to this Bose, they're not even close. Especially when you put both of the Bose on, I mean, you're getting a good sound. You're getting some good bass, good highs, good mids, and it sounds good. On these, doesn't sound terrible, but no comparison to the Bose. The bass on these is okay. To be as small as they are, they got pretty decent bass. The treble is kind of muddy. The overall sound is kind of, I don't know what words to use, like tingy, like a hollow can sound, kind of tings a little bit. I don't know if that helps, but anyway. And if I would have never had this might be okay. So if you never had a Bose or you never heard of Bose, and this would be all right. I could probably live with the whole ear thing, maybe, for the sound and as long as they last. Another thing, the call ID announcement on these is real. It's robotic. So let's say my friend, Craig is calling. It would say, on here, it would say, Craig. That's it. On the Bose, it says, does it say Craig is calling? Or does it announce the name? I don't really remember now. But it says it in like an almost human voice, so let's say the person's name is Mike Wells. So the phone would ring and it would say Mike Wells. On this, it just says, even if I have a last name programmed in it, it just says, no, it doesn't. It says the whole name. So it would say Mike Wells. I know that's nitpicking, but it doesn't have a very natural voice on the announcements. And also with these, when you get a text message, it'll say message. And you can look at your phone and see you have a text message. But it's just real blank and message, and that's it. This doesn't say that when you get a text message. Your text message tone comes through these. On here it says message. So now this case, I've charged it once since I had it, which, like I said, has been over a week. I've put these in here twice to charge. One time, second time, and I haven't taken them out since. The yellow light means it's mid-range battery life left on the case. So that probably means you get about 3 charges out of this case before you have to charge the actual case. Another pro to that, you can charge this wirelessly. If you have if you have a Samsung wireless charger, you can just sit this on there, boom, it charges. If you have a current phone that has a wireless power share, you can sit this on the back of it and it charges. That's a good thing. But do I want that versus good quality? No, I can deal without that. This is going back. I would rather buy another set of these. Also, comfort in your ear. The first time I messed up one of these was my first set. And what happened, my ear was itching, not because of this, it was just an itch. This was so comfortable in my ear, I didn't even feel it in my ear, and I went to scratch my ear and knocked it out and it hit the ground. And this little part here broke. Contacted Bose, they sent me another set, whole set. No questions asked, no nothing. They sent me a brand new set, which was this one, the one that's broke now, which was this set, and that was a little over a year ago. In my opinion, when it comes down to the Bose versus the Samsung Buds Live, I'm gonna have to go with the Bose every time. To me, it's gonna be hard to beat this to me. If I was to have one that had the battery life of this, the wireless charging of this, and all of this that this has, that would be my solid forever Bluetooth. That's it. But again, this case charges pretty quick. I wire it up. I carry a backpack every day. So I basically just made me a charger inside of my backpack. Took a battery backup, wired a USB through the backpack to where I sit these in my backpack, plug it in, it's charging. And on my battery backup, when it detects whatever you're charging is charged, it turns off. So that's how I keep this charged on the go. My opinion, you want a good Bluetooth? I would definitely go with this Bose Soundsport. Before I finish, one more thing, apps. The Bose app is pretty simple. Doesn't have many settings or anything on it. I don't really use it unless it's time to update these. When it is time to update it, you just plug the case in. Well, you don't have to do that unless you hook into the computer. When you're doing an update on these, you just have to take both of them out, do your update, let it finish, put them back in. These with the app, they can update just like this. See, look at that. Look at the fingerprints on there. I barely touched this thing. So if you're a person that's crazy about fingerprints and you're OCD about it, this is probably not one you want to mess with. But anywho, the app on these is pretty good. It has a lot of things on it, but I didn't notice a lot of change in it. You can change the sound profile, normal, treble, bass, boost, dynamic, something other like that. But I didn't really notice a change once you made those changes. So it's up to you. But my personal opinion, out of my years and years of having Bluetooth, I would get the Bose Soundsport. Heart Media, T Heart. Have a good one.